Thank you so much for coming this morning. So on Wednesdays, I usually teach at 9:30 at the Severna Park Community Center, and it's an all levels class. When I teach all levels, it's a little more challenging than the gentle yoga that I taught yesterday, but I always like to give modifications to make a pose more gentle or more challenging. So I'll try to do that for you today to help you make the practice your own. So go ahead and find a nice, comfortable seat. I'm sitting in Sukhasana, easy pose, but you can sit in any position during the beginning of the class, so long as that spine is nice and tall. Be sure to pull the flesh away from those sit bones so that the sit bones are rooting down to the earth. Draw the navel into the spine and let the crown of the head reach tall towards the ceiling. Bring the shoulder blades together and down the back, and then place the hands on the thighs, palms down, and close your eyes. Just start to watch your breath and allow that breath to flow in through the nose and out through the nose. Now, if you are stuffy in the nose, we never want to force anything in yoga. So in that case, you would just breathe with your mouth. So the inhale and exhale are equal. So if the inhale was for a count of 4, the exhale would be for a count of 4. If your inhale was for a count of 6, your exhale would be for a count of 6, and so on. So you may be breathing at a different rate than everyone else, and that's perfectly fine. Begin to tune out any distractions like noises from another room or thoughts running through your head. And if you do become distracted, just bring that awareness back to the balanced breath. As you sit and breathe, I'll tell you a little bit about today's class. Today we'll be working on balance, one of my favorites. And in our lives, we're all always searching for balance. Whether we are working 9 to 5, or we're a stay-at-home mom, or we're a student, we need to figure out how to balance all of the activities that we do in our life. So to do that, we have to create space sometimes. So if you realize that you're spending way too much time on work and not enough time on self-care, you need to create that space. You need to readjust your schedule. But sometimes what can happen is we create this space and then we fill it with scrolling the internet or binge eating food, being a couch potato, all of those things. So we just have to be very mindful of what activities go into that space we created for ourselves. And it's different for everybody. So sometimes when we try to create balance, we don't do it right. And it's like we lose our balance when we're in tree pose. But just like tree pose, we just get up and try again. It's never perfect. It's always a practice. So let's bring those hands together at the heart in Anjali Mudra. Your thumbs can just gently press against the chest. Elbows are relaxed. We'll breathe together 3 times, and on the third exhale, share the sound of Om. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. And exhale through the nose. Inhale. And exhale. And for the third time together, inhale. Om. place the hands on the thighs. Softly open your eyes, looking forward. We'll go ahead and lay down on our backs. So we're going to just lay down comfortably on our back. You can remove anything you have, like a blanket or a block. Just move it to the side. Lay down comfortably on your back. And we're going to start today just with a quick body scan. So just checking in with the body. When we do the body scan, it's important to not analyze or judge anything. We're just observing. So laying down comfortably, just starting with the feet and the toes, just checking in there. Bringing the awareness to the bottoms of the feet and the tops of the feet. How are the ankles today? Bringing the awareness now to the calves and the shins. The fronts of the knees. And the backs of the knees. Next, we'll move up, checking in with the thighs and the backs of the legs, the belly, the bottom, pelvis. Bring the awareness now to the low back. How's the low back today? Checking in with the mid-back, upper back, and chest. Next, we'll bring the awareness to the shoulders. How are the shoulders today? Checking in with the neck, the head, and the face. So we're going to come back down the neck to the shoulders. Bring the awareness to the upper arms, the elbows, forearms. Checking in with the wrists and the hands and the fingers. And now as you inhale, the arms come up overhead until the thumbs touch the floor behind you. And then as you exhale, arms come back down by your sides. So you're moving with your breath at your own pace here. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, arms come down. No need to rush. Remember that if that mind starts to wander, to bring the awareness back to the breath. The next time the arms are by your sides, you can pause there and hug those knees into the chest. I always like to give you the opportunity to just rock side to side, give yourself a nice back massage here. Become still, and then start to rock head to tail. You can rock a couple times, bring yourself back up to seated, or just use your arms to bring yourself back up. And then we're gonna come right to all fours, hands and knees. So I told you guys this yesterday, I have some knee stuff going on, so I use this really nice thick foam pad covered up with a pretty blanket just to look nice. But I protect my knees with that, so feel free to layer up under those knees to give yourself enough cushion. So we'll come to all fours, hands and knees, remembering our proper alignment. Knees are just hip width apart, they're slightly behind the hips. Hands shoulder width apart, slightly forward of the shoulders. Fingers are spread nice and wide, and we're pressing down through the fingers and the perimeter of the palms, which helps keep the weight out of the wrists. Take a breath in here, and as you exhale, shift your hips to your heels, the chest to the thighs. Come into child's pose, elbows up off of the mat. And then as you inhale, you'll come back up, all fours, hands and knees. So you'll continue moving with your breath at your own pace. Moving in and out of child's pose is such a great warm-up. We're warming up our wrists, shoulders, hips and knees, and bringing some nice stretch to the low back and the side body. The next time you come to child's pose, pause there. Keep those elbows up off of the mat. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, you'll walk the hands out to the left. To deepen the stretch, you can place your right hand on top of the left hand. Feel the stretch in that right side of the body. Start to walk the hands back to center. And on the next exhale, you'll walk your hands out to the right, this time bowing out the left ribs. Bring those hands back to center. And as you inhale, come back up, all fours. On your next inhale, the right arm sweeps out parallel to the mat. The thumb points to the sky. The fingers are reaching to the wall in front of you. Draw the navel in towards the spine and breathe. Lower the right hand. On the next inhale, the left arm sweeps out parallel to your mat. The thumb points to the ceiling. Fingertips reach to the space in front of you. Navel draws in towards the spine. Slowly lower the left hand. On your next inhale, the right leg sweeps out parallel to the mat. So you're reaching through the heel here. The leg is straight, navel draws in. Focus on the breath. Gaze down at your mat. Lower the right knee. On the next inhale, that left leg sweeps out parallel to your mat. Reach through the heel. Focus on your breath. And lower. Take a moment to shift back to child's pose. While you're here, just think about an area of your life where maybe you need to adjust how much time you're spending on it. Maybe you're spending too much time, maybe you're not spending that you can create space to adjust your schedule to become more balanced. Bring yourself back up, all fours, hands and knees. On the next inhale, the right arm sweeps out parallel to your mat, and if it's okay for you, the left leg sweeps out. So you're drawing the navel in, the heel is reaching to the space behind you, the fingertips reaching to the space in front of you. You're making yourself as long as you can. This is called bird dog. Lower the right hand, lower that left knee. On the next inhale, the left arm sweeps out parallel to your mat, thumb to the sky. If it's okay for you, the right leg sweeps up. So I always say if it's okay for you, because my left knee is my bad knee, and putting all this pressure on it, some days I can do it, some days I can't. Today's an okay day. Do what is best for your body. Lower the left hand, lower the right knee. Take a moment, shift back to child's pose. Slowly bring yourself back up. So now this is when things get interesting. This is really for fun. So now what you're going to try to do, lift the right arm, thumb to the sky, and then lift the right leg. Not so easy. Shaking a lot, but that's okay. You're doing the best you can. And breathing. Don't hold the breath. Lower the right hand, lower the right knee. On the next inhale, the left arm sweeps out parallel to the mat. And if it's okay for you, the left leg. Reach through the heel, reach through the fingertips. It's funny, I could do it better on my bad knee. Focus on your breath. Lower the left hand, lower the left knee, shift back to child's pose. Take a few moments here to come back to the balanced breath. Inhale and exhale are equal. Come back up to all fours, hands and knees. We're going to begin to move into downward facing dog. So from all fours, you'll curl the toes under. Start to shift the hips towards the heels. The knees lift as you press back, coming to downward facing dog or Adho Mukha Svanasana. Start to bend those knees, go back down into child's pose. As you inhale, come back up all fours, hands and knees. Curl the toes under. Start to shift your hips towards your heels. Knees lift as you press back, downward facing dog. You can bicycle the feet here, but if you do it nice and slow. Give your muscles a chance to relax. And then let both heels relax towards the mat. And then we'll start to walk our feet towards our hands, coming to Uttanasana, forward fold. So in this time of uncertainty, it's really important to feel grounded. So if you can't touch the floor, you can have your hands on top of a block or something else, or even just place your hands on your knees or your legs. Relax the head and neck here. Place your hands on your hips. You're going to press down through the feet and use your core to unhinge, coming up to standing. So we'll stand in Tadasana, which is mountain pose. So when we stand in Tadasana, the feet are just femur width apart. The feet are parallel to each other, so they look like an 11. We need to make sure we're grounded, so we want to root down through the four corners of the feet. So that's the pad of the big toe and the little toe, inner and outer heel. So to really feel those points on the mat, lift your toes. You can kind of feel those parts of the foot pressing into the ground. When you do that, notice your quads activate. We want to keep all of that and just relax the toes. Your hips are stacked on the knees stacked on the ankles, pelvis in neutral. So my pelvis tips forward. Lots of short people have a forward tilting pelvis. So I'm just gonna tuck the tailbone and draw my navel in towards my spine to bring that back to neutral. Shoulder blades come together and down the back. Crown of the head reaches tall towards the ceiling. This is Tadasana, mountain pose. From here, as you inhale, arms reach up. And then as you exhale, arms lower. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, arms lower. Go ahead and do 6 more on your own, moving with your breath. When you finish, you can just bring the hands to the heart in Anjali Mudra. I'll give everybody a few more moments to finish. If you haven't finished, please take your time. Everyone's rate of breathing is different, so we'll all finish at a different time. So now we stand in Tadasana with the hands at the heart. We're going to move into tree pose, Vrikshasana. So for tree pose, we want to always make sure our knees aren't locked. If you would like to stand near a wall to have a little help, go for it. So we start in Tadasana, hands at the heart, and we're going to shift the weight to the left foot. Keep the knee soft, but really allow the weight to sink into that foot. Imagine growing deep roots into the earth that will hold you stable. The right foot becomes light. You can press that right foot against your ankle like a little kickstand, the calf, or the upper inner thigh, but you don't want to press the foot against your knee. So you're pressing the foot into the leg, pressing the leg into the foot. Keep that spine nice and tall. Find a gazing point, something not moving, and just soften your gaze as you watch your breath. If you feel stable here, as you inhale, arms reach up. And then you can let those tree branches grow. Trees sway. If they didn't sway, they'd break. So it's okay to move around. And just like at the beginning of class, when I said, if we fall out of tree pose, we just get back up and try it again. So bring those hands back together. Bring them to the heart, and you'll lower your right foot. So you can feel free to shake out those legs a little bit. And then we come back to Tadasana, mountain pose, hands at the heart. This time we'll shift our weight to the right foot. The left foot becomes light. You can press the foot against the ankle, the calf, or the upper inner thigh. Just remember, don't press it against the knee. So you're pushing the foot into the leg, pushing the leg into the foot, finding that gazing point, and watching your breath. If you feel stable, an option is to bring the arms up overhead and let those tree branches grow. Remember to breathe. Inhale and exhale are equal, balanced. Bring the hands back together, down in front of your heart. So you're going to lower your left foot. I'm a little out of order of my normal sequence, but that's okay. I'm the only one who really knew that. I didn't have to tell you. So let's stand in Tadasana. As you inhale, arms come up overhead. Grasp your right wrist with your left hand and let the right wrist look towards the ceiling. So here you're pressing down through the feet. Inhale, grow tall. As you exhale, you'll begin to tip to your left. So again, we feel that nice stretch in the side body. Slowly bring yourself up. You're going to switch your grasp. So you're grasping your left hand with the right wrist. Left palm looks towards the ceiling. Press down through the feet. Inhale, grow tall. As you exhale, begin to tip to the right. Slowly bring yourself back up. Lower your arms. Give them a little rest. Make some shoulder circles. Good. Back to Tadasana, mountain pose. As you inhale, arms reach up. Again, we're going to grasp the right wrist with the left hand. Right palm looks towards the ceiling. Press down through the feet. Inhale, grow tall. As you exhale, you'll begin to tip to the left as the left foot comes up off of the mat. So you will wobble here, it's okay. If you'd like, you can keep your big toe on the mat. Focus on the breath here. Balancing standing crescent pose. Slowly lower that left foot. Lower your arms, give them a little rest. Give me some more shoulder circles. Good. Now we bring the arms back up overhead. Grasp the left wrist with the right hand. Press down through the feet. Inhale, grow tall. As you exhale, begin to tip to the right as that right foot comes up off of the mat. Again, you can keep your big toe on the ground for some more stability. Remember to breathe. Slowly lower that right leg. Bring the hands to the heart. I just have to read where we're going next. All right. So come to the top of the mat. I need glasses, I guess. We'll stand in Tadasana, mountain pose. As you inhale, arms reach up. As you exhale, fold forward, hinging from those hips. Fingertips come down to the ground. As you inhale, you'll bring yourself halfway up. So here, your back is parallel to the ground. Notice if you have an arch in your back. If you do, just tuck that tailbone slightly. As you exhale, fold forward. Relax the head and neck here. Press down through those feet. Arms start to lift first. Once the arms are in line with the ears, use the core, bring yourself all the way up. Exhale, hands come to your heart. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hinge from the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up, flat back. So if you'd like to make this more of a challenge, you can extend those arms out in line with the ears, reaching towards the wall in front of you. So, like not actually touching the wall, but just reaching towards it. Breathe here. And fold forward. So from here, we're going to step our feet back to downward facing dog. Remember, in down dog, we want our hips to point to the back of the room where the wall meets the ceiling. Heels relax towards the mat. From downward facing dog, we'll begin to bend the knees. Go back down into child's pose. And then as you inhale, you'll bring yourself back up to all fours, hands and knees. So from here, take a breath in. As you exhale, begin to round your spine towards the ceiling. And then as you inhale, the belly draws down towards the mat as you arch the back. exhale, round the spine, coming to your cat. Inhale, belly draws down, coming to your cow. So we'll move in and out of cat and cow. Letting your breath guide your speed. Bring yourself back to a neutral neck, neutral spine. We're going to come to lay down on our bellies. So go ahead and move any props out of the way. You'll just lay comfortably on your belly. You can cross your forearms in front of you and rest your forehead for a few moments. Give yourself a little time to come back to your balanced breath if that's gotten away from you. So the next pose that we're going to practice is Sphinx pose. Sphinx pose is a back bend, and it's a back bend done on the belly, so it's a more grounding posture than a back bend that's not done on the belly. Sphinx is not as deep of a back bend as many, so it's a great place for us to start. We're going to start with the legs, so don't even worry about your upper body. For Sphinx, we actively point our toes towards the space behind us. So you're reaching those toes. Then we create an inner spiral or an inner rotation of the thighs. I'm just going to stand up real quick to give you a better view of what that means. So you're turning the thighs in towards each other when we do an inner spiral, inner rotation. So when you do that, notice your sit bones come apart here. And then you can draw the tailbone towards the heels. So our feet are reaching, inner rotation of those thighs, tailbone reaching towards the heels. Sometimes people get cramps in their feet here. If that happens, just relax everything, okay? So now you're going to come up onto your forearms. Remember the Sphinx from our social studies books. So we're up on the forearms. The elbow is directly under the shoulder, and the wrist is coming out directly from the elbow. Just gaze forward. Watch your breath. Toes are reaching, inner spiral of those thighs, tailbone towards the heels.
The thing is, you can't have anything of the same color in a row.
Sphinx pose helps to build poise and focus. So start to relax the legs, lower the head down to the mat. You can cross the forearms in front of you. Bend your knees, let the legs sway from side to side. Dolly, what are you doing? Let the legs become still and then rotate the ankles. Reverse the direction of that ankle rotation. Let the ankles become still. Lower the legs to the mat. So next we're going to practice another back bend. This one is going to be a little deeper, but again, it's a grounding back bend. Shalabhasana, locust pose, but we're going to do a variation today. So bring your arms by your sides, palms face the ceiling. As you inhale, your head, chest, left arm, and right leg lift up off of the mat. Then as you exhale, everything lowers. On the next inhale, the head, chest, right arm, and left leg lift up off of the mat. As you exhale, everything lowers. Inhale, left arm, chest, right leg lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, head, chest, right arm, left leg lift. Exhale, lower. Continue moving with your breath, just alternating sides. Just lifting up as high as is okay for you. And try to resist the urge to look forward when you come up. Try to keep the gaze down towards your mat. One more on each side. When you finish, you can roll over onto your back and hug your knees into your chest. So just lay down on your back when you're ready. Take your time if you're still working on Shalabhasana. So go ahead and lower the soles of the feet to the mat. We're going to be doing a twist, but we're going to do a little modification or adjustment first. So arms are by your sides, palms face the floor. You're going to lift your hips and just bump them over to the left a couple of inches and lower those hips. So you're kind of a little wonky now, but we want that. Bring the arms out like a T, palms face the ceiling. Draw the knees in towards the chest, and as you exhale, you'll twist to the right. So you're lowering those legs to the right. You don't need to hold your feet up in the air. Ideally, we'd like this left shoulder to stay rooted to the earth. If your shoulder or your arm is kind of dangling, bend the elbow and place the hand on the rib cage to protect that shoulder. I have a special delivery. Thank you, honey. You want to say hi?
Hello.
Thanks.
A parent today.
All right. Thank you, sweetie. So now we'll draw those knees back up. Lower the feet, and our hips are bumped over. So let's lift the hips and bring them back to neutral. Okay, thank you, honey. Next, we'll lift the hips, bump them over to the right, lower the hips. Draw the knees into the chest, and on your exhale, you'll twist to your left. So you're tipping those legs over to the left. Everything just rests here. You can even close your eyes and just watch the breath. August, would you like to take him upstairs?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Or
You can take him. Slowly bring those knees back up and lower the soles of the feet to the mat. So we're going to do one more twist. This is one of the twists that we did yesterday. It's a dynamic lying twist. It's my favorite. So we're going to cross the right ankle over the left thigh, like a figure 4. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, begin to tip those legs over to the left as you roll to the pinky toe side of the left foot. As you inhale, come back up. And then as you exhale, begin to tip the legs to the right as you roll to the big toe side of that left foot. Inhale, back up. And continue moving with your breath at your own pace. Again, you can feel free to close the eyes here. As a teacher, when I teach this class in front of students, I tend to notice that after a while they start speeding up. And my theory is that's when the mind starts wandering and you're no longer aware of your balanced breath. So try to stay aware of the balanced breath while we move through this dynamic pose. The next time the sole of the left foot is flat on the mat, you can pause there. Lower your right foot. Make any adjustments to your foundation, and then cross that left ankle over the right thigh. Take a breath in here, and as you exhale, begin to tip those legs to the right. Inhale back up, and as you exhale, tip the legs to the left, rolling to the big toe side of that right foot. Inhale back up. Continue moving with your breath at your own pace. The next time the sole of the right foot is flat on the mat, pause there. Lower the left foot, hug those knees into the chest. Coming to Apanasana, again, you can always rock side to side here if that feels good to you. Become still. We're going to start to rock head to tail. Bring ourselves back up to a comfortable, well, we're just going to sit just like this. We'll sit in Dandasana, staff pose. So we're going to practice another balance posture called Navasana, boat pose. This one is also a really great way to work on core strength. It's one of those poses where you might start shaking a lot, but it's okay. Nobody can see you. Alrighty. So to start, we'll bend the knees. Place your hands on the knees, and you're going to start way up on your sit bones. But then rock back just a little bit to the fleshier part of the bottom. Now in boat pose, the most important thing is this nice straight spine. So what we don't want to do is this, okay? So we'll lift the right leg, holding onto it with the hand. And if it's okay for you, we'll lift the left leg. We'll do this twice so that if you just do one leg, you'll get to do both sides. So you're balancing here. If you'd like, you can extend the arms out. And then if you can straighten the legs. So I find I can kind of straighten the legs if I haven't worked out a lot, which, I mean, this is kind of straight for me. So focus on the breath, gaze at your toes. You may start shaking, it's perfectly fine. Good job. Start to bend those knees, bring the feet to the mat, and hug those knees in. So now we'll do the other side, or if you did both legs, you can do both again. So we start way up on those sit bones, and then rock back just a little bit. We'll lift the left leg, holding onto it with the hand. If it's okay for you, you'll lift the right leg. You can stay just like this, or extend those arms out. You can stay just like this, or straighten those legs. Focus on your breath. Start to bend those knees and hug the knees into the chest. Extend your legs out nice and long. So we're coming back to Dandasana, staff pose. Reaching through the heels, yet our heels stay on the ground. Arms just rest by our sides. As you inhale, arms reach up. And then as you exhale, I'm going to turn to the side so you can see. As you exhale, you hinge from the hips. So we're not bending the back to reach the toes. We're just hinging from those hips. I kind of get stuck right here, so I'm going to bring my hands down to my legs. Then with the inhale, create length in the spine. And with the exhale, maybe I can fold a little bit more. Now it is perfectly fine to keep a little bend in the knee in this pose. Paschimottanasana. Slowly come back up to Dandasana, staff pose. So we're going to bend the knees here, hug them, and roll back onto our backs. Coming to Apanasana. Lower the soles of the feet to the mat. Bring your arms by your sides, palms face the floor. As you inhale, press down through the feet, lift the hips. And as you exhale, lower those hips. Inhale, hips lift. Exhale, hips lower. Hi, honey. The next time you lower those hips, you can pause there. Bring your feet as wide as your mat, so the outer edges of the feet are lined up to the outer edges of your mat. Let the knees just sway from side to side. Let those knees become still. Extend the legs out nice and long. So we're going to do one more body scan and then move into Shavasana. So go ahead and get comfortable. Lay down comfortably on your back. For the purposes of doing this on video and live, I'm only doing a 3-minute Shavasana, but when I'm teaching in a group class, I do 10, 15-minute Shavasana. So by all means, when I call everybody out of Shavasana, feel free to just keep laying there because I like a longer Shavasana, but for people who are going to be watching videos later, I don't know. Just tell me your thoughts on that part, on whether I should do a full Shavasana or not. Okay, so anyway, go ahead and lay down on your back comfortably. And again, when we do this body scan, we're not analyzing any of our body parts. We're not judging any of them. We're just being aware of them. So starting with those toes, checking in with the bottoms and the tops of the feet. How are the ankles after your practice? Moving the awareness now to the calves and the shins. Checking in with the knees, the fronts and the backs. The fronts and the backs of the thighs, the bottom, the belly. How's your pelvis after class? Bring your awareness now to the low back and the belly. Moving up to the mid back, upper back, and chest. We'll bring our awareness now to the fingertips. Check in with the wrists, the forearms and the elbows, upper arms. How are the shoulders? Bring the awareness to the head and the face. Relax your jaw by creating a space between the top and bottom rows of teeth. Let the tongue fall away from the roof of the mouth and let your eyes just rest in their sockets. Let your feet just flop open. Let your natural breath take over and rest in Shavasana. You can feel free to turn your volume down so you don't hear my dogs barking. Slowly start to deepen your breath, becoming aware of the room once again, becoming aware of your body. You can start to make any subtle movements that might feel good, like wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes. You can rotate through those wrists and ankles. Turn the head gently from side to side, and even open the mouth wide to stretch the jaw. Then stretch through those arms and the legs like you're just waking up. Nice full body stretch. And then roll to the right side in the fetal position, and we'll stay there for a few breaths. Keeping your eyes closed, if you'd like, bring yourself back up to a comfortable seated position. So we're going to do one more thing before we end class today, and that's a practice called Dharana. Dharana is one of the 8 limbs of yoga, just as asana, or the poses, are, as well as pranayama, meditation, etc. So dharana means concentration, and it's a great practice to do to prepare you for meditation. So in our world, we seem to value multitasking, being able to do a million things at once. But can you really focus on one thing for a certain period of time? It's hard to do in this society. So that's what we're going to work on today. We are going to practice dharana for 1 minute. And what I'd like you to do during that 1 minute is just focus on the breath flowing in through the nose and the breath flowing out through the nose. And if again you're stuffy, just breathe with your mouth. So with dharana, we'll focus on this breath, and anytime your mind gets distracted, you bring your awareness back to the breath. So we're doing it for 1 minute. You may become distracted 100 times, who knows? You may be distracted 4 times, you just don't know. But the more we practice dharana, the better able we are to focus on just one thing. So go ahead and close your eyes and sit comfortably. You'll start to develop that balanced breath. Inhale and exhale are equal. You can go ahead and close your eyes. And remember, if you become distracted, just bring the awareness back to the breath, and I'll tell you when the minute's over. Go ahead and release the technique. Coming back to present here. Bring the hands to the heart in Anjali Mudra. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Thank you for working on balance. And as you go through your day, just notice if there are certain things that may trigger some anxiety or anger or anything, and then see if you can look at that and bring more balance into the activity, maybe adjusting it in some way. Remembering to make room for self-care and to actually fill that space with self-care. Thank you so much again for joining. I believe the next time I'll be teaching is on Saturday or Sunday. I'll keep everybody posted on that. I'd love your constructive feedback. Thank you so much. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be free from suffering. May you have ease of well-being. Namaste. Thank you all so much, and I'm also open for suggestions and requests. Have a wonderful day.